Welcome to the Snark Tank. This is where we discuss issues that don't get much exposure in the nonprofit world. And today we're going to talk about boards of directors. Some years ago, when I was vice president of the university and secretary to the board of trustees here in Colorado, I was in the Colorado State Capitol and the Secretary of State called me over. She said, "John, come here." We went over in the corner and she told me that the governor had acknowledged that he made a terrible mistake appointing a trustee to the board, to our board of trustees, a guy who was, as she said, she used the word disappointment. That guy was no disappointment. He was a flaming idiot. He was a source of enormous trouble. But I said to the Secretary of State, "You're right, he's a problem, but he's not even our worst one. Another guy the governor appointed is even worse." Now there's a point here. It's essential to have a balanced board of directors. You need different nationalities, different economic backgrounds, different orientations or viewpoints, different socioeconomic levels, different professions. You want to have a representative board. But in the quest to have a balanced board, you run the risk of, on occasion, bringing in someone who may have a specific background that you want to add to the board, but who misunderstands his or her role and begins to think that the job of being a director is to represent that constituency. You can get in a hell of a mess if you have directors who think that their responsibility is to represent a constituency. You absolutely must insist that your directors understand they are representing the general public, they are representing your organization's mission. They are not there to represent a small sector, because if they're representing a small sector, then somebody else has to represent the other sector, and then all of a sudden you start to splinter, you factionalize, and you lose focus. I agree that there's a certain glory in having a balanced board. I can also guarantee from personal experience, not just at that university, but several other places where I worked or where I consulted, I can guarantee that if you allow a director to believe he or she is representing an external constituency, you invite all sorts of disruption. The question becomes, how do you prevent it? A little common sense will help you prevent it. When you select a director, be sure that you're selecting someone who brings you the set of skills. Orient that person so that he or she knows what the obligation is, and then expect your board members to discipline and enforce each other so that you have a group focused totally on mission and the public good instead of splintering. I got the ball rolling, but you get the last word. If you agree or disagree, post your comment in the section below.